Is it a yes or no? Is easy money really all that easy?
I'm gonna say it depends. It depends on where you're at. Where
I was
where
going to
are
say the
you?
opposite, whatever she was going to say. I was going to go, if she says no, I'm going to say yes.
Well,
Yeah,
so
you're
my
right.
original thing was to say no, but then something's made me stop because I thought maybe there is times where it is easy.
I would have said no straight away. I'd have gone, no.
Mm,
And then I went, actually, life is easy.
yes,
It doesn't have to be complicated. So I went, actually, yes, if our PIMs are in order.
yes, and that's the key piece
Actually,
is
there, number one, PIMs.
PIMS. Yep.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Woo-hoo-hoo. That's me singing surprise, surprise, surprise. I hear Moira
Ta-da!
say. Da-da-da. Ooh, welcome to our deliciously motivated mindset conversation.
Mhm.
Here we go. This is Debz and this is Moira. Ta-da!
Hello. Hi, Deb. Hi, listeners.
Hi. Welcome, welcome. And this is you listening here today as we do another invigorating, and I'm going to say invigorating, uplifting conversation because today's one, I don't think we've even touched anything around, it's around money, but I don't think we've even touched money ever in our
No, you're probably right. We've talked
conversations.
about prosperity and abundance, but not specifically on
Not
money.
cash.
No,
Cash.
moolah.
Yeah, the bring it out. So thank you everybody for joining us today on this different topic. It's still definitely going to flow. Before you say anything, it's going to flow how we flow things.
Just
The
how we
best we
roll.
do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the one. So thank you for joining us. Now, if you've been to us before, if you've listened to us before, we talk about our PEMs, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And when you have your PEMs in order, you have a little understanding of who you are. And what we do is we rate ourselves a number of 0 to 10 at the start. And this does depend on your PEMs. Very, very, very much. So we could actually just do a whole podcast on PEMs, really.
Yes, we could.
And yeah, we could. What is PEMs? And with that, it means if you're in a frazzle, if you're in a pickle, if you're like your Christmas tree lights that are broken, shattered, cracked, tangled,
Chaotic.
Wellington boots in the mud.
Yep.
Yeah. In a state. That's your a 10. In fact, sometimes you're beyond a 10.
Higher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And a 0 is 0 for Zen, where you're just, you're not worrying about what's happening. You're not worrying about what's happening around you, future, past. You're just sitting in that, place. That is a 0.
Very present. Yes.
Yeah, present, of course. Yeah, that's it, which is different to the Christmas tree lights. It's actually looking back at your Christmas tree lights and going, oh, they're all working.
Yeah.
Look at it. That's a 0, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
it is. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. So from unpacking the Christmas tree, or even opening the box lid, yeah. Unless you're completely organized and well done, you can come over to my house in New Zealand and do my Christmas tree lights at Christmas. Thanks. Yeah, that's the one. So we check in where we are, a 0 to 10. We mark ourselves down, and then halfway through, I encourage you to check yourself in again and find out where you're at. And the intention is to bring you close to that 0 away from the 10.
Yep.
And then at the end, we do it again. So, Moira, Where are you?
I'm a 2. I wrote
Same.
this. See, I wrote it down. Oh, well, I'm not
like,
really
where am I?
surprised.
Yeah. And that's it. Done.
Done.
And then we carry on. And there's nothing wrong. And I know one of the episodes Moira gave a tip, and the very first tip jumped me 3 numbers closer to the 0.
Yeah.
Literally, it was like bang, and I went,
just
wow.
unpacked it like, wow. And that
and
can happens to all of us.
Absolutely. And somebody can say something and you can go and you can be a 5, and then someone can say something and you can either jump to a 4 or you can even jump to a 7.
Yep.
So it's just a number. Remember that, people. This is just a number. I'm not going to hold you to that number. But anyway, enough about the numbers, because today's topic is easy money really all that easy?
Ooh.
So grab your digital note taker or writing device, pen, pencil, whatever that's going to be, and let's crack on, because Moira, is it a yes or no? Is easy money really all that easy?
I'm gonna say it depends. It depends on where you're at.
I was going to say the opposite, whatever she was going to say. I was going to go, she says no, I'm going to say yes.
Well,
yeah,
so my
right.
original thing was to say no, but then something's made me stop, because I thought maybe there is times where it is easy.
I would have said no straight away. I would have gone no.
And
then I went, actually, life is easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I went, actually, yes, if our PIMs are in order.
Yes, and that's the key piece.
Actually, there, number 1, PIMs.
PIMs, yep. How is your, and so that's actually a really good point, because that assessment, it's an assessment tool. And so if they're off, so let's say that in your check-in, listeners, you're at a 7 or 8, then your reaction to this question is going to be very different to if you were at a 0 or a 1, right?
100%. And I think the thing is, it's okay if it's a 7 and it's okay if it's a 2. Like, it depends on what your level of what easy looks like is the other thing.
Right. Yes. Does
it mean not thinking? Does it mean, like, what does easy look like? Does easy just mean not even thinking, just getting up and going with the flow and it's perfect?
Right.
Or does it mean, I found this glitch, let me work through that. I've got to the end of that, there's another glitch. Like, is that still easy? Because that's pretty inspiring to go through challenges, depending on the challenge and depending whether you're a 0 to 10. But so what does easy look like? But I do love the assessment tool, and I love the PIMs. They are my given that I talk every day about.
Absolutely. So, something that just occurred to me when you're saying this about, and it was you saying flow, that sometimes this idea of easy money is got a bit of a bad rap, because it says it flows into me without me doing anything. And that's the piece where I feel like it's a no, because it doesn't flow to you without you doing anything. You do, and that was my
I really like that,
tip,
actually, because
the action, you do need to do some sort of action step to co-create, to engage, to name it or claim it or open the door for it, right?
I just did a quick, somebody wanted some help on something and it's not my jam, and I went, yep, I'll do that very quickly for you. And I did it and I charged it, and someone said, that was the easiest money ever for you. And I was like, no, because I was out of my zone and I did have to think about it, but it wasn't like, for me, it was easy for that person to go, wow, you did that so quickly. And yes, it was easy for me to do, but it was painstaking, because it took me away from something that I could have made more money on, way more money, but also it deflated me. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, it was like, oh, Deborah, why are you doing this to this person?
It's a stressful thing.
Yeah. So emotionally and weighing down, I felt great, done, invoice, bang, done, And yes, they came to me because they knew I could do it.
Right.
And I was like, yep, I'll just do this. It's like, in my mind, I'm like, it's easier for me to do than you try and find someone to do this.
Mhm.
you know, that one thing. But I was out of my jam. I was out of my glitter zone. And that alone is not easy,
That's
because it
not
was
easy.
emotionally, no. So this is definitely a little goosies. This is definitely an interesting one, because I think the other thing is, you know, what you just said before, I have that skill set to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing. So it's not just, oh, I can think of that and do it. You know, I can do that. I can do that because I've been doing it for 30 years and then I stopped, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So it's not that you just go, oh, I'll try this and do this,
Mhm.
because I've put 30 years experience into it.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. And that's, so, you know, something that I was thinking is that somebody looking at you from the outside, that they see you doing something that, let's say somebody, well, let's take me as a meditation teacher on Insight Timer as an example here. So somebody looking at me says, oh, Moira's got thousands of followers and she's got all these courses and she does all this. Actually, somebody was asking me how do I promote myself or my products. That's what it was. How do I promote my products on Insight Timer? And I'm like, you don't. You only have your meditations and the courses that are on there. And so it's that would, to me, was really fascinating, because it's like, that's what I'm saying about this. Somebody's perception of me is, oh, it's super easy to get there, but they're not understanding.
How long have you been on Insight Timer?
Since 2016.
Okay, so there's a shitload of years there. So
yes, there is,
and there's consistency, and there's providing value, and that's
all. What my point is that it's
comparison.
It is. It's
that's
comparison.
Tip 2, comparison.
Yes. Yeah. That and so that, because be wary of it. That you know, if you say, okay, this is my fee for this workshop, and somebody says, oh, but it's like so easy to you and you do this all the time. It's like, yes, but think about all the training and all the hours and all the research and all the reading and the courses and the investments that we've made in ourselves to do what we do. There's a lot of things that I do that I consider to be easy, but I've put my time in to get here, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a key piece, is comparison. It's not good for us as the recipients or the chargers of fees or you know, naming prices. It's not okay for us to compare ourselves outward looking, but also not to take other people's assessments of what it is to be us doing what we do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I really like that, because it definitely, comparison is just something that can take you on a spiral, and it's not often an inspiring spiral.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's
absolutely. Because it's basically saying there's something wrong with me, or I'm less than, or not good enough up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I love that you said 2016 Insight Timer, because it really brings it back to how long you've been showing up for.
Yeah.
And if you 2016, and then if you had 30 followers, would probably be wise if you listen to one of our podcasts, Moira. So what's going on? But so my next tip is, like and I'm going to use the word intuition, but if this is, instantly if this is going to be for you. If someone asks you to do something, you're like, oh, I can do that. It's easy.
Yes.
And you don't have to think. And I guess that goes back to that flow, but if this is going to be a pain in the butt. You have a client or a potential client who's changed 3 appointments to get to you, and you're like, oh, mate, if you're doing that and we haven't even signed the deal here, you're going to be a pain in the butt. I mean, I'm not going to, I'm not desperate for whatever you're here to fix or would like to look at. I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to do that to myself and have to shuffle everything around and then try and squeeze you in it, whatever, go outside my boundaries. So your intuition, already if this is going to be a 10 or a 0.
And so, you know, that I love that you said that, because I think it's really important, because I have a story to share on this.
Oh, perfect.
Because like you say, you do know. And this is years and years ago when I would see people in person for hypnosis sessions. And what happened was, it was actually a husband and wife came to me for hypnosis to quit smoking. And so we came in, and they came into my office, and she really enjoyed the session and wanted to come back for more, but he didn't enjoy it. He just thought this hypnosis stuff was weird, and like, I didn't know you were going to play this nice relaxing music, and I'm not quite sure what he was expecting. But I was like, okay,
well,
fine.
She'd primed him up with half the information to get him there.
Yeah.
Which is always fun for us consultants who go, okay, thank you.
Yes.
We're luring them into a false sense of security. But yes.
So I was fine. I was like, okay, you know, they'd paid for that session. Technically, I wanted to see them for 4 more sessions, but with him being not open to it, I'm like, good, that's okay, bye.
Yeah.
So what happened, and I actually have no idea what kind of conversation went on or what he then realized in the interim, but the following day he actually came to my door begging me to take them back, and that if I would guarantee 100% that this working with me would make him be a non-smoker, quit smoking, I had to guarantee 100%, then he was going to pay me $5,000. And I was like, no. And he begged and pleaded, and actually over a couple of days, like calling me, and I would see him, and I was like, no, I'm just not going to do that. There's not an alignment here, because of how he had reacted so badly to, oh, this is what hypnosis is, then it's not for me. So
oh my God,
so
it would have been pushing a wet noodle really, really, really painfully.
Truly. And so it's funny, because I've shared that story with other people, and they're like, well, why didn't you just take the money? That was easy money. It's like,
oh my God,
energetically, it just was not okay with me. And so that's the thing, is eating money really all that easy? Sure, I could, if I was a different type of person.
Well, the truth is, you would have 100%, would have 100% worked, but you were like, no, because you're not.
It's not up to me to do that for other people.
About a year or so ago, I was mentoring some coaches, and I said, I don't take all clients on, and they're like, what? Like, yeah, but you have to. I was like, no. And I was literally like, no, I don't. I was actually dumbfounded that they thought I had to. I was like, no, you can, like, no. Like, but Deborah, you have to take them. I was like, no, because I'm very straight. I can definitely hold, like, I can hold space, but I mean, I'm straight to the point. Yes, like, I'm straight to the point. If you start telling stories, mate, I want off that boat. I'm pushing you to stop that story and let's dig around. I'm not going to handhold you to, I mean, I can definitely handhold if I think it's necessary, but it's not my style.
Yeah.
You know, I can be gentle. Yeah, yes. You can tell in the voice. Listen to her voice compared to mine. You know, but it has that whole, I don't want, and they're like, but you have to. I'm like, no, I don't. There's going to be somebody else in alignment who's going to be so much better for them.
Yeah.
Because yeah, but that, even that was an eye-opener to me. So you don't you don't have to take on everyone. You don't, if it doesn't light you up.
So that mindset is really coming from a sense of lack as well.
Well, that's a scarcity mindset, isn't it? Really?
It is. It's saying, oh my God, if you don't say yes to that client, who knows when there's going to be somebody else contacting you. And so there's this threat of like, yeah, it's going to run out. Not everybody's going to, well, no, the right people do come to me, and I'm going to say that I only work with
one door shuts and another one opens.
That's right.
I mean, I just have incredible trust that, okay, you may be turning down that $5,000 from that guy that would have been incredibly painful for you, because even energetically you'd be like, oh, I've got to talk to him. Oh, you know, and you'd have to
prove something to him. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I know when I used to do, well, that's the other thing, is proving. Actually, that's another one, because because I go back to that, and I know if I do a 1 hour consult with somebody, it's a higher price that I do, and they're testing you, they're trialing you. It's okay.
Yeah.
And you prove to them. And so you go over and beyond, and then you come away and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I gave them an hour and a half, and it should have been done in an hour, and I can do this in 45 minutes. And what was I thinking? And I just gave them too much, so much so that that person is overwhelmed with, wow, they gave me so much in that hour and a half, and I thought it was supposed to be an hour, and I didn't prepare for this extra part. And and so you over deliver would be it, would be that thing on that one-off to prove yourself.
Right.
So I guess it's know your skill, and you don't have to prove anything.
Exactly.
Like own your leadership, own your power,
own your expertise.
Own your yeah.
So that's a great one. Don't have to prove yourself. So that means you don't have to take everybody that says, oh, hey, can you help me quit smoking?
Yeah.
Right. Because
desperation is ugly.
It is. But the other thing too is if we take on clients that they don't click with us, then in actual fact, we're denying them finding the one that does really click for them, right?
Yeah.
So that to me is an important part.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, and I like the way it goes. You're actually denying them too.
Mm-hmm.
You're denying them. Yeah,
and so I think that of finding the right fit.
Yeah,
because the right fit is there, right?
Oh, 100%.
And you and I both know this, that we are not here to serve everyone. We're here to serve the people who are called upon to be served by us. And even that, sometimes people come in and have a coaching program with me, and then off they go, find somebody else, or up level it, or specialize into something else.
Well, I think that's the other thing, is be okay with letting people go, because I know when COVID was happening, I threw out the C word there, when 2020 was happening, I let go of a couple of clients, and people are like, but why? And I'm like, because they were doing stuff that just wasn't in alignment. They were doing illegal stuff. And look, I try and have no judgment on anything, but I do have certain things. But I didn't want to be that one who is showing them how to rip off the government and how to do this. And it's not my style.
No.
And so and I was like, you know what? If you continue to do these things, I can't help you with this world. But Deborah, you're supposed to have no judgment. I'm like, I know, but it's not me. I don't want to go to bed thinking, oh my God, I've helped them find 300,000 out of the government, or like it wasn't for me. So I let a few clients go, and I felt so much better for it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And more came in.
Of course it did. But
as it does.
What I'm feeling with what you just said is that, yes, no judgment, but we do need to have discernment and always be in our own integrity.
Yeah.
Right.
Your morals and ethics and I like that discernment.
Yeah.
But that's in any friendship. When friends are doing things that don't feel right for you, it's okay to speak up and then move on. Like it's okay to let people go.
Yeah. To just say, okay, I can't be around this.
Yeah. And that you're not, and I guess people have let me go. Mm-hmm. People let me go.
Yeah, me
sometimes
too.
I swear, sometimes I don't swear, sometimes I laugh at the most inappropriate times. And I say that because someone said to me, you laugh a lot. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's pretty funny. They're like, it's not that funny. I'm like, no, it is. Let's just look at this. Really, it is quite funny. And they still don't get the joke. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, well, you're not my people. You're just not my people.
You can't let me laugh at your misfortune. For the fun of it, let us all have a laugh about this, because it definitely helps out. But yeah, it's okay to let people go. But I do like that discernment word. I think I think
it's really important, because, and it's interesting, like you were saying about, oh, but hey, Deb, I thought you were not supposed to have any judgment. Well, no, and we don't.
We still want to sleep at night.
We still want to sleep at night, and we want to discern what is in alignment with what's true and truthful for you.
Yeah.
Because we all have our own code, our own vibe within, right? Other people think things are it's like, oh, it's okay, we can bend the rule a little bit over here, whereas other people are like, no, I'm going to follow this ism to the T, right?
Yeah.
And it's to me, it's about allowing everybody their own choices in this area.
Well, you don't have to like everybody, but seen, heard, and acknowledged. We like to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, but you don't have to agree with them. Like, okay, I can see you, I can hear you, and I can acknowledge you. I don't have to agree with you. You know, it's still my life to live my way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's because that's going back to that whole thing about comparing too. Is just because I can see, hear, and acknowledge you doesn't mean that I can say, oh yes, I think like that too. That's not part of it.
Yeah. I've got another 2 sitting here.
Okay, let's hear them.
I've got another one, and I'm going to go keep in your jam, glitter, keep in your glitter zone. So if it lights you up, I know I mentioned it briefly, but it's really actually a point on its own, is if it lights you up, do it.
Yeah.
If it lights you up, do it. And then it's actually easy money. It's easy in capitals with pom-poms, which is the cheerleading pom-poms, and lights, and it just does.
But then you're in flow, because you're in flow with the truth of you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, in flow with the truth of you. Yeah. And I'm going to put another one, into this, which is actually the next tip, and it's called delegate. And the reason I've put this straight under this other one is when you delegate to somebody that loves to do it. So if I don't like cleaning, it's not in my jam. So then I delegate it, but I delegate it to somebody who loves to clean, not someone who gets by for the money or any of that. It's because they love to clean, because you can tell when people are forming like a dancing monkey because they want the money. And that's not nice.
No.
So delegate to somebody who sits in their glitter zone when you delegate. And we go, oh, it's much easier for me to do it myself. And the other day I did that quick job, and it's like, oh, it's easier for me to find somebody, not find anyone, I'll just quickly do it.
Yeah.
But you delegate, you learn to find the right people around you, and you make sure you have the right people around you who can help you with whatever's going on. So one is keeping your jam, your glitter, your inflow. I love that you went inflow. I've got inflow with of you. No idea what I wrote there.
With the truth of you. Inflow with the truth of you. I made a note of it.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm like, what is the inflow with of you? That doesn't make sense. Inflow with the truth of you. I love those words. I actually even like that it's got the truth as well, because mine didn't flow, which is even funnier. But then the other thing is delegate to somebody who has that glitter moment.
And I love that, because I just started having a new cleaner come for me, and it's been a little bit of an argument in my head of like, no, and but the energy of it. I walked back into the house and was like, it feels so good in here.
I know,
and that's when you do delegate into the zone of genius, or the zone of glitter. It's perfect.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Right.
Well, actually, I've just been down with my daughter, and we talk about cleaner, and I changed their sheets, her sheets on her bed, which I don't like doing in my bed anyway. That's why.
But you're at somebody else's. You're taking care of your daughter.
I was nurturing. I was doing those things, and I said, and she jumped into bed and she went, "Oh, Mum, it's so nice to have clean sheets during the week. We do ours at the weekend. Oh, Mum, it's so nice." And I felt myself so fulfilled that she even I was like, oh, and then I was like, yeah, we have ours done during the week because we have a cleaner come and da. But she changed it at the weekend, so it's a nice thing, I guess, on their Saturday night or Sunday night, whatever, Friday night, whenever they change them, that they have that at the weekend. But actually to do something very different and have them, and she's like, oh, Mum. So I don't think that's going to happen again if I come down here. I just have to. It's a fresh day, and I thought I'll just change the sheets. But it is those things. So I know energetically when you walk in and it has that fresh smell, or you can just see things you like, even just hoovering. And you're just like, oh, I've looked at that piece of fluff for 3 days and I haven't picked it up. And it's just those little things. But you've got to delegate to somebody who loves what they do, because we all know energetically you can feel it.
Yes.
If it's not your jam, stay in your glitter zone. And if it's not yours, delegate to somebody who does have that glitter.
So here's the thing, we're talking about, is easy money really all that easy? There's something to always understand and realize that money is energy in itself. And so maybe this whole conversation about easy is, no, it's about finding the flow,
energy.
finding the energetic yes. Then it flows, right? Because it flows to us and through us. It's not a thing that we hold on to, or we say I have enough or don't have enough. It's about really trusting and acknowledging that I'm always in the flow of it when I align with what is my expertise, what does make my heart sing, what am I really good at doing, right?
Well, when we talk about, yes, and when I say about delegating, and if you can delegate a task that you can generate more money from by, not cleaning, not cleaning, and you 2 hours cleaning, and if you can generate double, triple, whatever that is, or then it's 100% easy money. Like that's a no-brainer. That and that energy, and even if you've got the cleaner and you're going for a walk, you'll still know that you're coming home to a beautiful home that's clean. So even that energy, and you're not generating any money, that energy gives you a different kick in your step.
But even when you're going for a walk, technically speaking, you're looking after you as the one who is creating 100%. The program or the product, or right. And so
which we talked about at the start, and that's why you charge your amount, because you have to have that self-care before you go and talk to somebody else, and especially in our role.
Yes, absolutely.
As consultants.
Absolutely. We have to put ourselves and our self-care, and I call it sacred self-care, has to be top priority. Nothing else happens until you do that. Otherwise, we cannot be the quality of service providers that we intend.
I know. Yeah. I was just thinking of something here. This is a really different one. This is a really different one.
This is going
and
down
I'm loving it.
Different areas than I thought, but not surprising with us.
Yes. Surprise. I know. So is easy money really all that easy?
Can be and can't be. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no when everything is in alignment, right?
Yeah.
It can be when everything is in alignment. And so that's the caveat to it. It really is when you look after what is your part to do in the equation, and releasing the things that aren't.
Well, I guess the other thing is, if you're on a and I'm going to put in here realistic timeframes. That's one of my favorites.
Very important.
Because be aware of your realistic timeframes, and be aware of the person. So someone hires you to do something and they want it done in 5 days. Is that realistic that you can get that done in 5 days?
Yeah.
And also, is their expectation realistic? Is your expectation realistic? And if you have a business and you're going to do this on the side, is that realistic? If you've got 4 children under 5, is that realistic that you can do that? Like, be practical. But I guess realistic timeframes, and say no. Maybe they're 2 separate tips. Say no. Like, it's life is about negotiating. Life is about negotiating. It's a win-win for all. So if it doesn't work that you can get it done in 5 days, say 6 days or 7 days. Say no and negotiate. I don't know if negotiate's the right word.
Well, negotiate or tell
open
the truth.
discussion. Yeah.
It can be discussion or tell the truth. This is I've got a lot of chaos in my life right now, so it's going to take me X amount of time. And
transparency.
But also understand that, because I know that sometimes, and it's a wee bit like from your conversation earlier about the assumption that you would have to take on every client that approaches you.
Yeah, that still dumbfounds me. I'm like, please, no. People don't like me all the time. Yeah, no. People don't like me laughing the way I do.
But the thing is that no doesn't mean never. No means, I've checked in with my energy and I've checked in with my other obligations and things that I've said yes to already, and it's not going to work for me. And you could maybe even set a date. Say, well, I'll circle back to you in 2 weeks' time and check back in to see if there still is a need, and we can assess it from there. So it's a honoring and being respectful of both sides. You putting you first, of course, right?
Yeah.
As the service provider, right?
I like that, you putting you first. And I think that actually is another tip. You putting you first.
Yes.
Don't you think we've done, which sums up pretty much,
sums up this really well, actually. You putting you first, because when in my story about that giving up smoking thing,
that would have been painstaking. I felt pained. Even I felt pained. But you could have done it. I could have 100%. You could have done it, and you could have nailed it and moved on. But that would have been
an energy drain, and so it's like that's why I'm saying is that putting me first means I'm the one that needs to feel in integrity with myself to do this. And it's like you were saying about the letting certain people go around the COVID times because of them doing things that you wouldn't, or that weren't in alignment with you.
So just for the record, it had nothing to do with the injections, nothing to do with that stuff. It was nothing to do with that.
No,
it was about doing some other stuff. I was like,
about getting easy money. It was about this perceived easy money. Yes, I know some stories around that here too. But of course, I only know them as stories because I gravitate away from that kind of thing too. So that's the thing about you putting you first, is meaning you don't have to jump in and say yes to everything that's going to be income bearing. You have to just pause and say, is this right for me? Yes or no? That actually brings us to those three questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know that thing.
Yeah, so it's that, ask yourself, is this good for me? Is this good? And so you say yes or no. Is this good for me? Yes or no. Is this good for the other or the others? Yes or no. And do I want to? Yes or no. And of course, to go into it, all three have to be yes. You can't just go, oh, well, yes, one of them's yes, so and
all three have to be yes, that you don't have to overthink. Go, hang on, I'll have to come back to you today. I just need to, is this good for me? Is this good for me? You're doing the dishes. Is this good for me? Hanging out the washing. Is this good for me? Talking to a client. Is this good for me? It's the same flipping question. Like, I know we did a tip.
Asking it over and over and over again.
No, there was one of our tips, and it's like, when you know, yeah, like that's it. And it's just literally, is it good for me? Is it good for others? And do I want to? Yep, done. Bang, bang, bang. Yes. Oh, okay, right. Well, why am I even questioning it? Moving on. Let's just take action. Yeah,
exactly.
I love those questions. They're a little love heart post-it note on my computer. Of course they are. Of course, yeah, that's it. Wow,
very
is easy
cool.
Money really all that easy?
I like this conversation. I really thought this was
not
fascinating.
How I thought.
There's fascinating places that we go to with these conversations. I love it.
Yeah.
So we trust that you've been taking notes on the way through, but if you've missed some of them, we're going to do a little fast recap and go through all of the tips that we shared. I'll be interested.
Now, the problem with the recap is often we actually add a few things.
Yes, we do. Yep, that's how we roll.
I don't know if it's a problem at all, but So if you counter them at the start, don't be surprised if there's more
Yes, because I actually don't even know how many there are, because it's be interesting to see how these get numbered. But I'm going to kick us off. I'll kick us off with the first one. Asking, is easy money really all that easy? And my first thing was maybe yes and maybe no, because it really depends on where you're at. And that's what we were saying, is it really depends on your own physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual way of being. Where are you at that moment? And so if you're really depleted, then somebody says, hey, I'll give you X amount of money to do this. It's not really going to be that easy because you're depleted, right? Whereas if you're on top of everything, you're really in flow, and the thing that you're being asked is in your genius, then it would be yes. So that was the first thing, is to make sure you're checking in with your PEMS, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being.
Which is what we did on that 0 to 10 at the start, that assessment tool. We looked at that, and it's in alignment with you. I love that. Number 2 is I wrote down comparison. And comparison was, and Moira went on and explained about Insight Timer, that people would say things to her, and it's like, yeah, but she's been on there since 2016.
Yeah.
And that is just and the reason I just bring that up, because that cuts that whole conversation down. Why? If I was to go on Insight Timer now, I would be like, oh, but Moira's got all that. I'm not going to compare myself to 2016. This is ridiculous. Why would I, like, why?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
that's
a waste
apples,
of
apples
energy.
and oranges thing again.
Apples. Do you know how many times I've used apples and oranges? Exactly. And so we want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. And I say that often, but you don't have to agree with them. Like, you don't have to agree with them. But comparison is a spiral downhill unless you actually just look and go, oh, that's interesting, I can leverage off that, or not. They've got an idea, that's a great one. I mean, I did a course a couple of weeks ago, and a woman said one thing, and I went, oh my God, that's genius. That is genius. That is genius. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to put it my way, not her way. It's like, it's genius.
Put your own flavor on it.
Absolutely. And Deb's flavor is different to Moira's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, clearly, because we have this podcast together.
That's right.
We've both got different accents, but be aware of that comparison, because if you want to do it because it's easy money, it's not easy if you're comparing to other people. Yeah.
And I just made a wee note about the inner and outer comparison. You know how somebody outer, like, says to you, oh, you're just like that person, so you should be doing it this way. That to me is an outer comparison, as opposed to an inner comparison is me saying, oh, I need to be doing it that way because that person's doing it this way and it looks like that. So both levels,
different.
Both levels are not good, and they would be a detriment to any kind of,
be a disservice to your world.
Yes. Yes. The next one I have here is
that's straight, boom,
that's just done. It's your intuition, it's your inner knowing, it's your inner wisdom. It's there, always there. And so you do know. And this is about you telling yourself the truth. How many times have you heard people saying that? They'll say, well, I knew, but I went ahead and did it anyway. But right, if I'm, there's that thing. Is this one makes me laugh. I hear people say it often, is that, well, if I'm honest, and then they'll tell you what's going on. If I'm honest. I'm like, why is there an if there? Just be honest.
It's like, if I'm being honest, we'll just cut it out. Just be honest. If I'm going to be honest, okay, just do it. But you know. And I often say to people, they go, oh, the red flag. And I'm like, mate, you had pink flags all the way through.
Right.
You had pink flags all the way through. And there were different levels of pink until they got to that red, until you were ready to see it. So there's pink flags all the way through things. And you know, oh, there's a pink flag. And if you don't want to say there's a red flag, label it a pink flag, for goodness sake. It's a pale pink. Oh, no, it's getting darker. Oh, yeah, okay, here's another one. Here's another. Oh, that's just changed from, because there's a significant difference from a pink to a red. And if you don't want to say, I missed all the red flags, label them pink, label them whatever you want. But you know when that red flag comes. That
you do know. Yep.
Yeah, you know. The next tip I have is don't have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And that's that knowing your skill. And I like what Moira actually said, is you're denying them of finding the right fit.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to prove yourself to anyone.
Yeah.
Like Moira didn't have to take that client for that amount of money to prove herself.
No.
She knew there was no comparison. Her PIMs were in full order.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to prove yourself. And I'm adding in a couple of things here, is the dancing monkey, because it feels like you have to perform for money. And that's that. When I say the dancing monkey, you know, in Bali and things like that, where you give them money and they dance for you, and it's cute and adorable, but it's also what goes on behind the scenes. It's not cute and adorable, but you don't want to be dancing for that money. Like, you want to do, like, don't be the dancing monkey. Yeah. That's what I mean. So know your skill. You don't have to prove anything. That's it. But I loved the spin on that, is you're denying them of finding the right fit.
And that, so the little piece that I added onto that in my notes was to own your genius. So you know what you're good at. You know what kind of people you're called to serve, and what kind of clients or what kind of interactions feel really good. You know what feels like yes. You know those 3 questions. Is this good for me? Is this good for the other? And do I want to? When you've got your yes, then you're great. But if it's not, then you need to release. That's because then you're not the person. You're not the service provider for that person, and they can go and find the right one, the right fit.
Yeah, right? Totally. And you don't have to overanalyze everything in it either. Don't have to go, oh, I should have done that, I ought to have done that. No. Spray and wipe.
No shooting. No shooting here.
Yeah.
The next one I have here is to be able to let go of clients. But of course, this would be let go of people too, let go of relationships. It's all about being in integrity, being in touch with what's right for you, and just being okay with the flow with that, right?
Yeah, I think that's quite a fearful one for most people. Oh, I can't let them go. You know.
Yeah, what if there's nobody else?
Yeah. Well, what are they doing to, you know, destroying your soul every time you talk to them, or you see that message come up? They're like, oh, what do they want now? God, I don't have anyone. I had to just double check in as I said that. I don't have anyone who does that. I see their text message or anything, and I go, oh.
Yeah, no, I
actually
don't,
no. There is one. There's one who does pop up on my Instagram occasionally, and I go, and then I laugh. I'll do some work around that. Actually, that's probably a good one. Just going to write that person's name down. But it's letting people go and be okay with that. Yeah. So my next one is, now if you're that female on my Instagram, thanks very much. I'll work that out through today. I'll have it resolved by the time this one goes live, so that's okay.
There you go.
So the next one I've got is keeping your jam. Keeping your jam and in your glitter zone, your zone of genius, which we talked about before, but it's actually keeping your jam, keep in your glitter. And what Moira wrote, because I've got all the words now, when you're in flow with the truth of you. And so
stay in that zone, in that lane.
Well, when you're in that zone, those tasks are a lot quicker and easier than ever. But when you're out of flow, they're hard. That's hard.
Yes, that's when things are not all that easy.
So that's that tip.
I have about the releasing judgment, and we talked about having discernment. You know how you were saying how people say, oh, I thought you weren't supposed to judge. This is the letting people go, and because maybe they aren't in alignment with your mindset or your belief system or your jam, if you like.
But who you were 20 years ago is different to who you are now.
Absolutely.
And me. Even from last week, changing sheets at my daughter's house.
But it's to embrace the power of discernment, right? I think that's a very important one to, and that's when you added on that everybody wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, but it doesn't mean you have to agree with them. Right? I think that's an important one too.
I've got those notes, but they're shot out on the right hand side, because I'm sure I wrote that down. They're on the right hand side of my little piece of paper. The other thing I've got down is delegate.
Yes.
And when I talk about delegate to somebody who loves what they do, not chasing the dollar, someone who actually loves what they do, because money is energy.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
And in fact, life is energy. So when you have somebody who digs their toes in and it takes so long and they procrastinate, hesitate, frustrate, it's not inspiring to them. But when they're inspired, they jump up, they do it in an orderly fashion, they're fast, they're just in flow. So delegate to those people. If there's something that you can monetize from by delegating that, and like I had a cook, actually she was actually a housekeeper. I'm going to say a housekeeper. She was like a Mrs. Doubtfire. And she was amazing back in the day because she would order my groceries, and not only order my groceries, she would take the car for thing and she'd have them delivered when she was there, and she'd unpack them and she'd cook, and she did all those things. And my mum was mortified. She was like, Deborah, you're a single mother. You shouldn't have that. And I'm like, Mum, I can make more money and be in my jam, because I would cook a roast on a Monday and Friday we'd have to top up a few more things to make that roast that would be dried out and heated, and it would be because it just wasn't my thing. But I found somebody I could delegate, and she loved doing it. And it was
awesome.
So much pressure off me. So you've got to find those ones who love what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk about us keeping in our glitter zone. Find those ones who can delegate what they love to do.
I love it. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. The next one I have, this is my second last one, is to set realistic timeframes. So to really like assess what you got going on. If somebody's asking you to do something, can you get this done for me by the end of the week? Or so what other obligations do you have? What's your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual stamina like? And so not to be shortchanging yourself, saying, oh, I'll get it done tomorrow, if that's not what's really in alignment for what's going on for you. So setting realistic timeframes.
Yeah, because life gets in the way. Pivot.
Yes.
Did 2020 not teach us pivot?
The pivot.
I'll have that done tomorrow. Oh no, I can't do that tomorrow because
pivot. I've got this other thing. Absolutely.
And I think the next one comes after that I wrote was, well, actually, I don't know who wrote tell truth. No, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. And so be prepared that time frame. No, it doesn't work. But also for you as well, like just tell the truth. Yeah.
And discuss it. Like just be honest and discuss it. No, that doesn't work for me, but this is what does.
And if they're not going to accept that, they're not your people.
That's right. Then they can go off and find the person.
Then you can go back to one of the other. Yeah. Then you can go back to one of the other tips of letting people go. Let people go. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's all the tips I had.
No, I've got two. I've got two more.
Okay,
I've got two more.
Go for it.
My two are, don't you dare stop now. My two are you putting you first.
Oh, right.
And I know.
Oh, see, I had that off to the side too. So there you go. You putting you first. Yes.
Yeah. Your integrity with yourself. And I know we've used those words earlier in other things, but I really think that's a bullet point on its own.
Yes.
Is remember to put you first. And the last one is my little love heart. On my computer as I turn my head. Is this good for me? Is this good for others? Do I want to? All three are a yes. And it's done very quickly. They're my two. They're beautiful ones to end on. You putting you first.
Yep. Because
I think that's the one that we forget.
Absolutely.
Hand on heart. I've got this.
Yeah. Priority number one before all else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Excellent tips. Excellent places. I like this. I like where we went to with this one.
It wasn't what I thought. Just saying.
And so, like we did at the beginning, we checked in with ourselves on our scale of 0 to 10 to see where we were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And so we were both at 2s. Where would you say you are now?
I'm going to say a 0.5 because I just remembered that person who messages me through Instagram. So that's definitely a work in progress. Although that shifted me. I went, oh, actually, she's not that bad. And then I went, okay, just do a little bit more because there's still a little niggle. So I'm going to put it as a 0.5, but I would have said I'm a 0. But I'm going to say a 0.5 purely because I'm going to go back and just dig around that little one. Yeah.
Got it.
Which I know she's going to message me today. doesn't message for a few days. I know she's going to because I've literally written her on my piece of paper.
There you go. You opened the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this conversation. I'm at a 0 myself. So we'd love to hear from our listeners. We'd love to hear, where were you at the beginning? We'd love to hear you, where are you now? And was there a tip in here that it really resonated with you, that you really thought, yes, I really needed that one? Or no, I didn't really need that one, but thanks anyway.
Yeah.
What was your favorite tip? And we'd love to hear what your idea is. Easy money really all that easy? Love to hear from you. And if you loved this, the next thing for you to do is to share this. Share these episodes with your friends, with your family, with people you feel like you want to help uplift, with people that you would like to help get them to know themselves better and help them conceivably come closer to that 0, because that is the intention with our conversations here. So all that being said, this is us.
There's a couple of clients I'm gonna send this podcast to. I'm actually gonna target them. I've just got it now. I just went, actually, I know there's a few people. Yeah. So now my 0.5's gone to a 1 because I've just added more work on me. Just
there
saying.
you go.
But it's a good one. Yeah.
That's an okay movement.
Yeah, I can do that one. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's us wrapping up another one of our Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast episodes. Love having these conversations. Love the internet that allows us to do this together.
I know.
And
from 2 different countries.
Absolutely. That's the best way.
That's the one. Way on the other side of the world. One night, one morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Deb. Thank you, dear listeners. We'll be back with you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.